Hey guys. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think of like everything we've been through in the NICU. So she was born at 2:13, and just like any normal full-term baby, they typically lose weight, and they normally give NICU babies about 10 days to get back to their birth weight. So I think that she got down to 2.8 or 2.9, I don't remember. And as of, what's today, Wednesday? Monday, which was day 11, she was only at 2.12. They weigh them at night, and I haven't gotten her report from last night, so I don't know what she weighed last night, but I'll find out when I get there in a couple minutes. When she was born, like I said, they put her on the vent, because she wasn't breathing. She only stayed on the vent for about 24 hours, and then they took her off and put her on CPAP. And she was only on CPAP for about another 24 hours, and then they just put in a nasal cannula, which basically means that it's basically a high flow. It's just enough flow to kind of keep her lungs open, so that she doesn't have to get that initial, to get them to open to breathe. Within the past couple days, they've actually turned on the oxygen, because she wasn't on any oxygen for over a week, but she's a stinker and pulls out the nasal cannula at least every 10 minutes. It's constant. And so that causes her oxygen level to drop, so they've actually put her on a little bit of oxygen to help combat that. So most of the time, anything that comes back low or like an alarm goes off, it's because she's pulled something out, like her feeding tube or whatever. It's typically not because she's actually not breathing or something. About a week, I want to say day 8 or 9, she wasn't on any medicine other than, they just give them vitamins and an IV with basically fat in it, basically just to fatten them up, and then just a teeny tiny bit of heparin to keep their tube from clogging, because the vitamins tend to clog. And so, but she wasn't on any caffeine or anything, which is very typical for preemies because they don't remember to breathe. And so she went about 9 days before she needed any caffeine, and then she started having some apnea episodes where she would stop breathing and she would drop her heart rate. So they have her on a very, very low dose of caffeine, and typically they just outgrow it when they start gaining weight. So they were really shocked she wasn't on it for the first 9 days. Now she's on it, and it seems to be helping. She hasn't really had any bouts of apnea or dropping her heart rate. Every now and then when I'm holding her, she'll start to drop her heart rate because she just gets comfortable and forgets. I've kind of learned if I just pat her while she's laying on me, that she remembers she still has to work, if you will. She still has to breathe and keep her heart going. Let's see what else. I don't think there's any much more than that. Oh, she, when babies are premature, they have a heart echo done. And, they can have something called a PDA, which basically is just a small hole in the heart. Basically, as babies mature in utero, that heart closes and becomes a ligament. So when they're born early, sometimes it's open because they haven't matured enough for it to close. Yes, I have 1 soda a day. Today it's on the way there. Yesterday it was on the way home. Anyways, she had that done. She was born Thursday. She had it done Monday, and she had a small to medium-sized hole, but they said it already looked like it was starting to close, and they measure that by how much blood is flowing through it, basically. So they said it's not big enough to need medicine or anything. We'll just watch it, and we'll do a repeat echo in a week. So this past Monday they redid the echo and it was completely closed. So that's really, really good news. They also do an ultrasound on their brain to make sure that they don't have any brain bleeds, because that's very common with preemies. And there are 4 different stages, like a little brain, I think 1 and 2 are just very little brain bleeds. 3 is when it starts to swell, and then 4 is when it starts to actually, like, I think it bursts and starts leaking. And of course, the higher the level, the more chance they are to have some kind of mental or physical disabilities. So they did that when she was a week old, and she didn't have any brain bleeds. So that was really good. So basically, we're just kind of eating and growing at this point. She started off on 2 milliliters, which is 2 cc's of breast milk. And for the first few days, typically they make them go 5 days before they'll up a feeding in the very beginning. So she went, she was doing really good, and then once everything comes back kind of clear, they start being more aggressive. As long as they do 4 feedings where they don't have any residual in their stomach, then they'll up their feeding another milliliter. So as of yesterday, she was at 11, but she was having about every other feeding, she was having residual in her stomach. And the doctor came in and checked her and couldn't find anything wrong with her stomach. So I don't know why there's residual in her stomach. It may just be that she's topped out, and it is what it is. I don't know. So that was the last feeding I was there for that there was residual left, I think was 3. So I'll find out today if she made it through the night, if they've upped it at all. When they get to 16 milliliters, they start fortifying their milk, which is basically when they really start packing on the pounds. So we're pretty close, but we're not quite there yet. And then 21 is considered a full feeding. So, and they typically don't get a bottle until 32, 33 weeks, because they don't have, just because they can suck on a pacifier doesn't mean that they can suck, swallow, and breathe all at the same time. So I'm trying to patiently wait the next couple weeks to get to that point. And then she's also got to maintain her body temp, obviously, which right now she doesn't do very well. Like when she's laying on my chest, we've got several blankets, warming blankets, and she still will drop her temperature. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Anyway, so hopefully when I get there today, they're going to tell me that she's had a better night with her feedings and that she's gained some weight. But we'll see. It's kind of one of those 1 step forward, 2 steps back in the NICU. And really, even with her, not gaining any weight and having a residual from her feeding, she's still doing extremely well for being born at 28 weeks. Today is 30 weeks and 2 days, and she's still doing really good for her weight. Every baby has a roommate, and they're typically about the same gestation, and she's got a boy roommate who had, what's it called? Intrauterine growth restriction, and he was born over a pound smaller than she is, and he's still on a breathing machine, and so she's doing way better in that regard. He's got a much longer road than she does. So I try to count my blessings with, and remember not to get too discouraged even on the kind of blah days, because they're never bad days. They're just, we didn't really make any progress. And it's hard because you want her to make progress every day, because I want her to come home. A, because you want her to come home, and B, because the longer she's in the NICU, the less time I have to spend with her when she comes home, because unfortunately I am a single mom now. I am going to have to go back to work, and I only have so much maternity leave and money set aside because she was born 3 months early. So it's difficult, and it sucks, but we'll make it through. So that's kind of where we're at right now. The first 13, well, about 12 days in the NICU, because today's 13 and I don't have an update. So that's kind of where we stand. She's doing good. So we'll just go from here. She's going to be there till probably at least 36, 37 weeks. So we probably have another 6 to 7 weeks in the NICU. But any prayers, thoughts, are appreciated. I just want her, home as soon as possible so I can spend as much time with her that I can outside of the NICU before I have to go back to work. If you guys have any questions, let me know.